Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV there, I see them you put
the executive. The least about the executive, the better, because we've seen what this country has become under the executive, especially with them alone. We've seen everything that's happened here. And see, I'll not even touch on the executive because the least said the better. But let me go to Parliament, Captain. The actions of parliamentarians, particularly this 8th Parliament in the 4th Republic, so-called 4th Republic, has been the most criminal parliament in the history of Ghana. I repeat my words. The 4th Republic, the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic, has become the most criminal parliament in the history of Ghana. And anyone should take me on. Speaker of Parliament says he has the power when it comes to Parliament. But let me remind Mr. Speaker that the person who gives him the power is the people. We are bigger than he is, and he's not the one in charge. It's the people of Ghana who are in charge.
That we are not exercising.
Exactly, because of the ignorance. But Captain, that will be remedied. If it's just one man who has to stand and speak to power, there are men in this country who can do that, and we will do that. But we remind the Speaker that he's not the one in charge of Parliament. No. He should remember that the Constitution says all power resides with the people. So then he should get his facts right. He's not the man in charge. Even in Parliament, he's not the man in charge. And if he's the man in charge, Captain, now take him on directly. So let's go into the Auditor General's report. Article 457 of the 2020 Auditor's report mentions an individual's name. Raymond John Latte went to the... We can't buffer too much, but Captain, let me flow. Raymond John Latte, Yaboni Ding, Article 457 of the Auditor General's report 2020.
Paragraph 457.
No, item 457.
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, Raymond John Latte, Wako Registrar General's Department. Akofa registration forms. I register Volta River Hospital Authority Hospital Health Services.
I want to deem
all 500,000 shares are in one individual's name. And Parliament, Captain, Parliament is acting like a den of thieves.
Auditor General say a criminal, you're revoking as quickly as possible.
Till date, it's still the
Ghana government health
services.
Facilities, no.
Volta River Authority Health Services. All of them have been registered in one.
Papa na kofa register when the dim said Nedia.
Captain.
Hey, say.
Oh, wait now, watch. This is just one item I've mentioned, though. Hey. Do you know how many items are in that report? And this is 2020. What's that? What do you stroke? What's that? What do you train? Say me ba. Me boba. Captain, what has Parliament done about this? Captain, left with me alone, you see. There'll be none of them who will be spared in this. Because, Captain, if we have 275 parliamentarians and 2 of them are doing something that is untoward, what have the 273 done? What did they do about it? They kept quiet. Silence means complicity here. So then they are all guilty of the same charge. But what you see, the Auditor General even went ahead to recommend, said they should reverse that act and to restore it to the government. Till date, Captain, has not been done. And I dare any of them to come out to show us when the correction was done and the date on it. And they shouldn't try to backdate any documents because we have contact and sources at the Registrar General's Department. But what has Parliament done in all of this, Captain? They've been quiet. And you see, I don't even have a problem with just this. But Captain, look, if I was in positions of power, I would have dealt with not just Parliament, but I would have dealt with the entire Registrar General's Department. Whoever worked on that document to register a government hospital service into one individual's name.
Registrar General, may I sure say, what was all registered there? They have notice pool. So being to me, I'm a challenge. Yes. No. As a so be a challenge. Obiama. But as like me saying no. The responsibility of Parliament to say, I did be a Ghana bind here, yadi emra,
oversight responsibility. So if anything like this can happen on your blind side, then you're not fit to sit in that house.
Even if it happened on your blind side, when you're Obi, Auditor General, I report the amount said, this is what is happening. Rectify the situation. Let this facility go back to the government of Ghana. What's the mean from 2020?
Into your way.
Lydia, it's property. It is property.
Hey, has been incorporated in his name. Check Article 457 of the Auditor General's report from 2020. Check it. Anyone who has a document, you check it. 457. Check it. Raymond John Latte. I don't even know who the individual is. Captain, my second point with Parliament. And I'm saying the entire House of Parliament is acting like a criminal enterprise. And none of them is exempt. Captain, the entire town of Obuasi form a Chiamu. Mehiti went here. Back to Obuasi issue, no. But Captain, the entire Obuasi Chrono, 220 kilometers squared. Yafa 201 kilometers squared of Obuasi the AMA private company as a mining concession. Captain, what was Parliament? Because the Mining and Minerals Act is very clear. Manu is very clear on this issue. Sir, the only 3 people who have the power to do anything concerning mining in this country are the President, Parliament, and the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. You see, the Minister for Lands and Mineral Resources is acting in the stead of the President, and only he can assign, negotiate anything to do with mining concessions. And see, per standard mining practices, say, Ubefa concession be the any company. There's no problem with that. But it says if they are indigents in that space, on that land, it says we relocate you until you find a different space, develop that land, relocate the community, and then their previous towns can be given as a concession. Mining has gone on in Obuasi for centuries. But Ojayankan said it started even before we gained independence. But when we assumed the Fourth Republic and these laws came into being, and this act was done, Captain, why didn't we fix that situation? Why has Parliament acted as if they don't even know what is happening? Sir, the town of certain people who are living on their what they assassin Nama, one company, say a mining concession, 220, what the 201 amount. Not just say it's just 19 kilometers squared that's left. 19 kilometers squared, no.
There are schools, there are markets, there are buildings, there are other things on it.
And Parliament is quiet. Parliament is quiet. They're acting, they are playing dumb. Say, so all of these things are happening. Captain, I've said this. Then all of these things are happening, everyone is quiet. Let them remain quiet. Say, they'll bring the police, the army, and the national security operators on you. But let me remind them. Say, when they were taking their oath of office, this is to every policeman and to every soldier, everyone who's wearing a uniform in the security services. Your oath of allegiance was to the nation and not to any political party, not to any administration. Get this right.
No, but CC sent.
No, Captain, let me remind them first.
Okay.
Yes. Say, so you see, if anyone gives you an unlawful order, say, be against the sovereign people of Ghana, and then also you take up your uniform, take up your guns, to go and brutalize Ghanaian citizens. Captain, what will happen to these people? It's not a threat. It's a promise. Say, you rise up against the people who give you the mandate to wear your uniform. And then you go and attack those people because your officer, someone has given you a certain order. Captain, in the services, we have something called an unlawful order. If your superior gives you an order and it's unlawful, you can tell him to his face, say, I will not do it. And they can't do you nothing. They can't court-martial you. They can't do nothing to you because it was an unlawful order. And see, I'm giving them that information this morning. Captain, then they don't understand the oath they took. Captain, do you know in the army, if you take your conscription oath and you are wearing your uniform, you are commissioning you as an officer, and you disobey a direct order, only is punishable by death if you are court-martialed. And see, if they don't understand their oath, how do you go and sign up for this if they don't understand what they are doing? And to make any serviceman who works with the coat of arms under the laws of Ghana has sworn an oath of allegiance to the nation, which is the people, not any political party, not any administration. It's to the people of Ghana. And see, if any of your officials give you an unlawful order to go and brutalize and terrorize the people of Ghana, it's within your right to resist or to refuse such an order. But, sir, you disobey that and go against your oath of office to defend and protect the people of Ghana and go against to brutalize the people. What will happen after? No, there's no justification for you. I mean, because in the realm of justice, you cannot attack those you've sworn to protect. What do you think will happen to you? Anyway. But then, Captain, again, Parliament. Let me deal with Parliament. I beg you. Okay. Because ceasefire. But no ceasefire today. Yeah, Captain, our mining laws. Let's put on the side oil concessions. Again, instead of considering PSA, which is production sharing agreements, say in any civilized, sensible mining or mineral producing country, they go for the PSA, which is the production sharing agreement. And it said, if we produce 100 tons, we can go to an agreement and say the nation yabefa ebia 40% and 50%, whichever one you agree. And say you two oil no, you bring 40% of the oil, and yes you can no oil you two no. Our parliamentarians never saw that option to go for the production sharing agreement, PSA. Almost any but concession. Come to this concession. So where a media concession is say I will give it to Kofi as Kofi's property. It's the major every Kofi is either taxes or royalties. But listen, almost say because Kofi the Nesika bet develop his concession no own to tax. It's tax no be their check Kofi. It's the Kofi bet you say or bet you royalties. Can't you know how much royalties are? Up to 5% of what their total revenue is. Who does the auditing? And say me 1,000 and I'm catch you say oh and then 200 penny who's going to check that? And so I'll pay you 5% of 200, not of the 1,000. Who is checking to audit these things?
It's with everything.
Captain, again, Parliament is acting like a criminal enterprise, and no one is exempt because if there are 275 parliamentarians and 1 or 2 of them are the ones who are criminal and doing these things, what has the speaker done about it? What have the remaining parliamentarians said about these things? They are playing the fool, keeping quiet because there's a day coming for justice. So you've heard what happened in Niger. I want someone to invite me and start inciting the youth to violence, and I'll teach them what the national anthem says. Yes, that we should resist oppressors' rule with all our will and all our might. Now all our might is then. And see, I want someone to come and tell me something. See, the youth of Ghana have been relegated to suffering and oppression. It's a lifetime thing. Because if this youth has to carry coconut husk to make 20 or 30 Ghana in a day, Captain, and you're telling him how much would he make to be able to afford an accommodation where he will sleep? And that's all, or how would he even take these people to school? Captain, in the videos there were young boys who were not even up to 10 years, almost to sell plastic bottles to go and sell. They're less than 10 years. Is this not child labor? And Parliament is quiet. Nobody is speaking about. Captain, I'm saying, look, again, the entire Parliament House is behaving like a criminal enterprise, a den of thieves. From the top right down to the bottom, everyone is complicit in this. And I'll take everybody on this. And Captain, Mabubo, just one item from the Auditor General's report, 2020. I've not gone into 2021 or 2022. In 2020 alone, almost a Sky Aryee or Ghana is 12.8 billion Ghana cedis. Captain, look at this. A bicycle, before 1 cedi will leave any part of the government coffers, there has to be a long paper trail. And it has to be sanctioned by Parliament. Captain, I'm telling you, it's a criminal enterprise. Everyone in Parliament is guilty of this. Because how much money has been stolen? 2020, almost 12.8. In 2021, almost session C. In the issue of 12.8, so they've increased it to 17.5. Now, 17.5, Captain, and yes, sir, they added a top up of the 12.8. No, from scratch, they stole 1111 CD up to 17.5. Into 2020, 12.8 plus 17.5 in just 2 years. We have more than $3 billion US. Captain, if there's so much money in the country, you can steal more than $3 billion. How then do we go to the IMF and say we're going to borrow how much from them?
They just replace them.
Captain, the entire House of Parliament is a den of thieves. And they should keep playing ostrich. Captain, I'm saying, look, there's a day coming. Everyone who is quiet should hold their peace.
Don't talk, oh.
Because in all of these things, no one is saying anything. That day of judgment is coming. Captain, there's a saying, almost saying, even the dog that pisses on the walls of Babylon shall not be spared. Some of them say, if it's roaming around, Oju baby na wajin so kakra. Yes, almost say, even sa crime no obey mistakes, so obey junso afa one. That dog is even guilty. No one will be spared in this country. And they claim we have laws in this country. Captain, have you ever wondered why no government official has ever been prosecuted? Why? The worst they'll do is they say, you better fire, they'll sack you. So that's the worst that will happen. And you know why? Because all of these guys are protected under the indemnity clauses of the Constitution. And that is why they will fight tooth and nail to make sure they will never ever change the Constitution. Because the Constitution itself, Captain, has said you cannot change the indemnity clauses. It cannot be amended. How? How can the Constitution not be amended? They have said that the transitional provisions, indemnity clauses, cannot be amended. It goes on to say that there's no court in Ghana, Captain, that can hear any case concerning those issues. You know what that means? So now
legitimized coup.
Exactly. Not even the coup, Captain, all the theft. And see, if any Cecilia Japa can never be criminal, she can never be prosecuted in any court in Ghana. Captain, I dare them to do that. She can never be prosecuted because the law says you cannot do anything about it.
The country where I come from, The truth is an irony, just like animal farm. Justice mean inequity. So who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Christian council, silence. Islamic leaders, silence. Kings and queens, silence. Traditional leaders, silence. So who go say the truth? We are them go so confused the call. Now by Aryee why no baby. We are them go so confused the call. One guy's out here why no baby. Who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Oh, he bit na si was so. Na your friend on na yen kamasem. Onipa bi obeka na sembia. So antu ankwa obechu etum. Everybody was afraid. And until Nanantuma Kotiti Ajanai, once na board dumping one anachi. But who go tell the truth? Nanai or say me. Nanso bien person beka wasam because everybody is afraid. Anya safwe muayini. Akuku trofo nyina danima. Enti, who go say the truth? Obiadra konson so to grudge a man said to me be a cacobrafo. Efo anyina ye. Efo. When you know yet. Na so kutrata down na so be dia back or why no keke. I fene for be manu mo pia for efo. Ne cross on my mo. Hanya safwe muayini. Akuku trofo nyina dalima. Enti who go say the truth? Abaya di bote chino. Yedi bi bebo nyande bi. Kachisa udi oma upipi numa. Would your mind never shine my frafonsa? But who go tell the truth? TUC, silence. Even journalists, silence. Oh, then who go say the truth? Right is right. Wrong is wrong. No matter how you justify. You say you wanna get rid of corruption. Someone want to help you. Now the person become your target. Jobless no they mean senseless. Poverty no they mean useless. One day them go resist.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.